Hey everybody, Chris Pugh here. Wanted to just shoot sort of a quick video on one of the questions I got asked on the last tour that I did, which was back in February of this year. I was working with a band, and on one of the songs, there was a component on the album that I really wanted to try and sort of do and get that recreated live as to the best of my ability. And it's basically at the very top. There's this kind of a lo-fi deal where the drums and the guitar are treated in such a way where it kind of creates this additional little space. So just sort of wanted to talk through about how I did that. One of the elements here is that this does require that the PA is sort of the primary listening source. It's one of those elements where if you're in a smaller room or something like that, it doesn't typically translate quite as well, just because of if you hear a lot of stage sound, some of the actual effects don't really overpower it all that much. But it does. It is really an interesting element as far as just a creative mixing component to kind of add another layer to that portion. So basically, because we're talking about the two, this is actually this band is they're called Like Machines, and they are just a three-piece. So it's drums, bass, and guitar. Lead guitar player is also lead vocalist. It's modern hard rock, and yeah, it's just the three of them, and I think they do a fantastic job of creating a pretty big sound with just three guys up there. So anyway, going into this a little bit, so because we're treating drums and guitars a little bit differently, I do have two separate stereo auxes set up for sends and then return. So we've got this first one is the treatment send for the drum group, and then this one is for guitars. So the guitar channels I'm using in this case, this track that I'm going to play here in a little bit, this was actually tracked from a rehearsal that took place after tour. But we have our normal mic kit here on the drum set, and then the guitar is basically, it's a single palmer that's double patched, hard left, hard right, and just EQ'd a little differently. And then I also have a Royer R10 on the cab as well. So those are the things that we're looking at for that. So that's what's being sent here. And then so let's just take a look at a little bit of the processing. So on the drum send, just calling this exploded drums, we sort of start this out with try to steady myself here. Start this out with the black version of the 1176 with the all buttons in, so everything's sort of getting smashed together right off the gate. Following that, there's just to kind of give that element a little bit of space, I'm using a very looks like about 20% wet version of this really nice Abbey Road Chambers. So it's a room reverb. And then following that, EQing a little bit to kind of, want to give it a little bit of thump on the low end, but it's really the whole idea is it's kind of designed to be a little gnarly sounding. So like we've got this little spike here. And then this is where we get into some real crazy character. So this is one of the MDMX units by Waves. This is their version of a tube screamer. So just basically kind of really saturating that to a point of where you actually hear a little bit of distortion going on there. It's one of those things you can get carried away with it pretty easily. But, it's one of those, it really does add kind of an interesting flavor. So I'm going to page over here to the guitar aux. We don't have the reverb going on in here because listening to the album version of this, the guitar has a little bit of a distance to it, but it doesn't have nearly the actual convolution in it. So starting out kind of the same. This time we're on the Blue Stripe 1176, same. Very similar setting on the ratio, all buttons in. EQ, really just using that for a pretty aggressive high pass, low pass filter. Because again, trying to stay true to the album on this, to help with that pushed back distance a little bit, we're just really using that to just really sort of take the overall sonic signature and really squeeze it a little bit. But because we're high pass, low passing so aggressively there, I think I actually do have some gain added at this stage. And following that, another one of the MDX deals, in this case, obviously the guitar tone itself is already has sort of a heavy standard rock guitar going on, but we're just giving it a little bit more aggression with this fuzz filter. So that's the processing on the different groups. So I think what I'm going to do to start here is I'm just going to, really this takes place on the intro. So I'm just going to play the intro of this track. I'm just going to play the intro of the track to start with just basically straight ahead normal console processing as I would normally mix in a live application. And then I'm going to go back and the way I have this set up to be able to quickly get to all this stuff, to be able to bring these in, I actually have all that set up on a separate group out that is not affected by, let's see, where is it? This guy right here. So when I actually mute my groups, you'll notice that that one stays open. Master bus is here. So that guy stays open, and it's not part of the actual group VCA. So the way I have it set up is that this is basically, these are some of my last two VCA. So this is the groups and this is all the effects returns here. These guys, the actual returns here. So this is the drum return. This is the guitar return. These guys are also not part of any other VCA, but I've got them on this guy right here. So basically I can very quickly mute and bring in that bring up this one VCA, no matter what page I'm on over on the right side of the console. Doesn't really matter. As long as I have that VCA page in front of me on the left side, I'm going to be able to get to what I need to with this. Having these guys here just kind of gives me another little handle to be able to say, okay, well, the drum portion needs to come up or down, same with the guitar, because the returns are right here. So to start, I'm just going to basically bring all of the special effects out and just have it play just normal console processing. This is just top layer here on everything. We've got drums going over 1 through 10, direct bass, kind of a affected dirty bass. Then here's those left, right, Palmer, R10, and then the vocals. I actually do have them muted right now. Again, this was because of, this was at a rehearsal, and actually it was just guys were chatting a little bit, like at the very, very top of this while playing their parts. Another testament to some pretty good talent there, because they're just sort of talking a little bit, and so we won't have part of any of that audio demo here. So anyway, I'm just going to switch microphones here and sort of set the phone down, hopefully where you can kind of hear what's going on, and we'll go through it. So stand by and bear with me for just a moment. Okay, so to start here, this will just be the intro, just regular processing, regular reverbs and all that stuff. No vocals, just the instruments. All right, so that's basically what it would be, just without the affected portion here. So I'm going to go in and basically just push faders as though I was at a real True Blue live show here, and just kind of give you the idea of how this kind of just adds a creative character and depth to the overall live mix. All right, here we go. Okay, so there you have it. There's just kind of a little creative mix element that I just wanted to sort of share a bit. I'll add one more little disclaimer here. Just like with everything, if you've watched any of my other stuff, you'll know that I'm a pretty big proponent for keeping everything in time and aligned and all that stuff. It's another reason why I definitely wanted to choose, not only because as far as the actual audio side, treating the guitar and the drums differently. In addition to that, those times are different because based on the drum group routing and the guitar group routing, the times required to actually push those to get them in line and make them exit the console at the same time are different. Ergo, you're going to require separate aux drives to make that happen and keep everything in time with each other, even though this is a point where those two aux returns are really the only thing you're hearing at that point. I'm still, it's close enough. You saw where I sort of pulled the effect out and pulled the regular mix back in, that it's close enough where I really want to try to keep that as a component and make sure all that stuff is in line with each other. Despite the fact that there's a fair bit of saturation and convolution going on there, that all that stuff we can create intentionally, but being able to do that and still keep everything in line, that's the whole process of trying to make everything be as coherent as possible. So hope you all enjoyed this as part of just a kind of a fun, creative mix element deal, and hope everybody's doing well. Cheers, everybody.